Are we ready to see our guest of honor? I would like to welcome Provost Jeff Lewis.
Hello and good evening, everyone. Really, I'm honored to be here with you all tonight. I remember when we met in the fall of '72. First time I saw him, he was playing with the Dirty 30 team while I was a senior in high school. So the weekend, we would come out here and watch the games, watch all the linemen. I think there was maybe 13 of them. to 11, and I just wanted to play with them. I could see they were tough players. I wanted to be just like them. 72, fall comes around, really the spring. I met Bob over here. Bob Colbert, met him while I was a high school student. I told him I'd be coming in the fall. And he said, great, let's sit down, we had a conversation. He gave me an exercise book to work on for the summer, a workout program. I told him I would do it. And we'll play with the 11 of them, including this gentleman right here. I was thinking maybe it was around July 72, I got a letter from Bob informing me that he was leaving Caldet to go to Volcade. I was severely disappointed. Knew we had a new coach coming in, didn't know who it was. Arrived down that in the fall of 72, joined the team. And there was 11 men amongst all these boys. The living, eating, breathing football players. During that time, we wanted to have a good time as well, but not these players. I remember Bill over here. Remember me? Remember this? After practice, we'd be taking that motorcycle out. Now, who's the motorcyclist now? We got a few in the house, right? That whole season, I would say maybe 10 words in it that whole time. I didn't want to get on his wrong side. He was tough. Tough linebacker. Now, I remember that time Gene started to get to know each other. When I was a freshman, I had so much respect for how they played football. Football to them was a way of life. They came, they played, they won, they lost, they played, no matter what. I remember as a freshman, the first game. My friend, we were in the club room, locker room, went up to the clerk dome, and they all said, get out. Went into 301, and how many? Maybe we had 10 cases of beer ready? I don't know. It was a stack up to here, right? And we all started drinking that night to ease our pain and suffering and soreness from the game. And I remember going down the Rathskeller with my friends. That's dirty 30. Really, area of brotherhood. From those 11 men I played with, the camaraderie, the bond that we created. Last night I got to join them at the field house and just could feel the love of this team, still to this day. I've never seen that with any other football team, never. Tom Bastian, see this picture here. I got to see him play. He suffered a terrible injury to his knee while playing. And I remember saying, hurry up, get him off the field. Hurry up, take care of that leg. And you know what? This man played on one leg. He got back in the game, taped up his knee, got back on the field. I remember hearing him out. He's like, it's a defense, play hard. Take care of this man. Not easy, but this team, Tom put the team before himself, before his knee, before his health. As I said, he lived, breathed, everything football. So during my freshman year, Luther and I believe a few other people, someone else that we've lost, Tom Bastian, who we have also since lost, Bill, Gregory, they all worked with us. And they showed us a lot of films. We would watch the films, we would study it to the T. They knew their stuff. They never gave up. That last game, I remember it. Less than 18 players, I believe. Last game, and they did not want to cancel. They were not going to end that season that way. Due to safety reasons, we had to cancel. I remember the coach asked the team. So I'm so grateful that we got to play together they love you all. Thank you all for your support, all the support you've given to Gallaudet, coming here today to celebrate together. We couldn't have done this without all of you. Love you all.
At this time, I'd like to invite the Director of Alumni Relations, Rebecca Rigstrom. First of all, welcome home. Welcome back to Gallaudet. I'm truly honored to be amongst you all in this very room. I didn't have the luxury of watching all play like Jeff did, but I've heard countless stories from so many different people who are near and dear to me. Ken Peterson's daughter is one of my closest friends, and she talked about the Dirty 30. And I was like, your dad was on the Dirty 30? And the stories that she was able to tell. We were able to watch film, different video highlights on YouTube, and I just got chills. So I'm from Texas, and I love football. Sorry, I'm a Cowboys fan. However, I do respect and admire the passion that they displayed for their work. Regardless of the results, they were committed. And your story and your legacy has been defined by grit. And it's that grit that further inspires me. So thank you so much for being committed for Gallaudet and investing your time. Just know that your stories have been shared across the world. Everyone everywhere has talked about the Dirty 30. So I thank you for being a part of that incredible legacy and a part of the Gallaudet story. Thank you for being here tonight and for your continued love and support for Gallaudet. I look forward to hearing more stories later on tonight. Excellent, excellent. Next, we have our new athletic director, Warren Keller, who has just joined Gallaudet this year. Perhaps he'll share a little bit about what he's heard over in Fremont, School for the Deaf. Warren, the floor is yours.
Thank you, you mind moving? Wonderful day with all of you yesterday. I got to join you for the evening, for dinner. It was a great time to tour with you, check out Gallaudet. Welcome back to your home. I'm going to take a short moment. Let's look around the room at each other. Look at your teammates, look at your family members who gathered with us today. I was making sure everyone's making eye contact. Good? You all just show love and support for each other, and that's just inspired me. I remember as a football coach at Fremont for 8 years. My dream, my passion, the opportunity is to work with a team just as the Dirty 30. They were the dream team, so lucky to have you, Bob, as a coach. Just inspired by the countless stories I've heard. Over the years, just the kind of stories about the Dirty 30, I mean, that the term came up all the time. It felt like a mythical fantasy to me. It felt like the movie 300, you know, when all the soldiers line up and go against the millions of soldiers on the other side. That's what the Dirty 30 is. And bringing that tradition today, just to see all of you here today, and to recognize all of the relationships, and many are from Fremont as well. Look at all these, 7, 8, 9 of you. Students, staff from Fremont. Plus, we also have Andy Duran here. Used to be the softball coach. I was so lucky to have all these relationships with all of you. I believe somebody's father was in the Dirty 30. Just amazing to see all of the great Fremont staff and faculty here. They've taught me so much. When I came in at 24, I was awkward. I didn't know what I was doing. Bob came in at that time, and he was just a great leader, and he is just, he through so much with the team, he helped the team grow, and it's just an inspiration. I want to talk a little bit about Gallaudet athletics today. Now it's changed and evolved over time. It's really grown. I'll say, we had 3 full-time staff, out in that grass field, in the rain, in the mud. We said no equipment, and look at what's changed. Now we have 25 full-time staff, beautiful property, beautiful building, turf, all the equipment we have now. And we're going to pass this on to the next generation and the next, and we're going to improve over time and ensure the Gallaudet athletics legacy. And we couldn't do it with all the support we have, all the previous athletic directors, how they've passed on the legacy, and I'm just so honored to be part of this now. And we would not be here today without all of you. Again, many thanks for everyone who came out here today. We're going to have a fun evening. I know you've had fun with the tours all day. We've got more to do tomorrow. We've got that football game. We're going to socialize some more. I'm just looking forward to hearing all of your stories. Thank you again to you all.
Now, the Associate Director for Communications, Sam Atkins. Welcome, Sam. I'm happy that the day has arrived. For the past 8 months, I've been working very closely with Clyde, and we've exchanged numerous emails back and forth. It was almost overwhelming. We worked together to make this event happen. Anytime that I type in a new email, if I type C for the first letter, Clyde's name is the first name that pops up. I'm very happy that this day is here. Welcome back home to all of you. I'm excited to see you. A big part of my job is to be mindful of the history of Gallaudet athletics. I know that there's many different sports here at Gallaudet, but football is one of our biggest honors to have. The Dirty 30 in particular was a part of such a rich history here at Gallaudet. Gallaudet is where the huddle originated back in 1894. So Gallaudet is officially the home of the huddle. In addition to the 30-30. So you are a part of history. I know that there's a person who's not here that I wish was here. Barry Strassler. Barry's in the Athletic Hall of Fame, and sadly passed away last year. The last time we were here in person for our last event was February 2020, and that was for the Gallaudet basketball program. And Barry at the time had just written a new record book describing the historical statistics of the athletic programs. He was sitting right in the back, autographing copies of the record book that he just published. Barry was Gallaudet's #1 fan. He loved Gallaudet sports. He would always email me stories about Gallaudet sports that he came across. And he would always share with me his stories about the Dirty 30 football team, one of his favorites. Barry would have loved to be here tonight. And I know the same is true with Tom, along with many others that we wish were here with us. Even though they're not physically here with us, we know that they're here in spirit. And with that, I wish you a wonderful weekend here. This is your home. Please enjoy the rest of the evening, tomorrow, and make sure you catch the football game in the press box. And that's the last I have to share. Enjoy the rest of your evening. No, you're right about that, Sam. You told me I was going to have to kick you off the stage for talking to you. I have to say, for me, being a graduate and then leaving Gallaudet, going out into the working force, and then coming back on campus eventually, and leaving again, and then thinking about how I need to make sure that I'm communicating with Gallaudet via email, video, letters in the mail, so many different modes of communication. And finally, I think they got sick of me, and they were like, of course. We wanted to make sure that this happened. We didn't want this to be an event that slipped through the cracks. This is history. This is historic. So, I had to work incredibly hard to the point where my wife would ask me to clean the house, and I'd say, hold on, 5 more minutes. And I felt like I was being pulled in multiple directions, but I couldn't stop. And finally, the yearbook was put together. It was an arduous task collecting all the data that we needed, but I'm proud of the product, and I'm happy that we're all here as family tonight. Now, is Chuck Goldstein here, the head coach? Has he not arrived yet? Okay. There's going to be a little bit of a change in plans. The football team has practice until 7 or so. So after practice, he's going to do his best to run over here. So we'll have to rearrange the order of presentations. President Roberto Cordero would like to share a few words with the audience. So please welcome Bobby.
Hello there. You have done such a beautiful job. As I looked through your book and the program book that was first published, I was absolutely astounded. Just amazing work that you've done. So my parents taught me, when they say formal, you dress formally. And so I'm a rule follower, and I did the very thing. I went back to my house and changed my clothes for all of you. I thought, I'll be here in tuxedos, the black tie event. But that's how I imagined all of you, all in tuxedos and formal wear, and I will continue to imagine you that way. My parents taught me formal wear, and I dressed accordingly.
I think you missed the key word, dirty, dirty, dirty.
You're right, that is true. But Dirty 30 still is the greatest ever and certainly worthy of my dressing in this formal attire. So I have no regrets whatsoever. What a fun evening. And again, I dressed up for all of you in honor of your 50-year legacy. I wore my best for you this evening, and I have to say it certainly is worthy of that. As I look back to the picture of all of you in 1971, I know the diversity amongst the football players. My father was at the School for the Deaf and also was a part of a very diverse team and had a very winning record, in fact. I think at that time I was 11 years old, if I'm doing the math right. Well, I was 9 while you were here playing in Gallaudet. I was 9 years old, quite young. But I can tell you I loved football at that age. My father was a football coach, and my entire life I was spent on the football field. I'd wait outside of the men's locker room, waiting for my father to come out, and the smell of the men's locker room, all the sweat and the grime. I would always stand out there smelling it, the strong odor, and I can just imagine it and remember as I'm standing here with all of you. But I'm so proud to host you here this evening. Proud of that you've been able to just do this after 50 years. I know you have lost a couple of players. I think a couple of them have since passed. But you saw Jeff talk about, his time here at Gallaudet. And now he's one of my most senior leaders here on campus. I just want you to take a moment and look to what you have created. Some great leaders, a wonderful programs that we have here at Jeff. The men, as he referred to all of you on the team, created who he is today. Jeff is my number 2 here at Gallaudet, and he was greatly influenced by all of you in his formative years. Leaders such as Jeff don't become leaders on their own. We become leaders by watching role models who have led before us. You know, I see Frank Church sitting here in the audience. I see Bob DeVilla also here in the audience. Bob Weinstock as well, who was athletic director when I first came to Gallaudet. Ken Ross is here. Good to see you, Ken. So what's important is that these are the leaders that I looked up to when I was growing up. And the generation of leaders watch all of you to learn from you, and I wonder how many of them you have influenced over the years. As I hear stories from many of you, you are among some of the people who were friends with my father. I saw many individuals similar to yourselves who were great football teachers, great football players, and who made a difference. Some people think it's just football, just a sport like any other, especially back in your day. The way you played, it was a tough sport. You know, I always loved my father, and you'll probably appreciate this. During his training years, my father was always known for telling this story. There was a hill around here by the School for the Deaf. It was a fairly steep hill, and my father would always get the players to run up that hill, and once they got to the top, they had to run back down again. And then they'd have to maybe crawl up one time and run up the next time, and on their hands and knees the third time. And then my father would tell them they had to continue to go up and down this hill, and all the players hated it. It was called Death Hill. But they would do it despite their discomfort and their fatigue and their dislike. But he would always tell them to get back up there and go up that hill one more time. And up and down the hill they would go, learning a lesson each time, because he would ask, how did you do? And if they said they did very well, he would say, back up that hill one more time. You know, football coaches are tough, right? Bob, I can clearly see that was true of you. They created the Dirty 30, and it takes a unique character to be a football coach and football player such as this. You know, I grew up with one as my father, and I think my strange behaviors come as a result of my father's upbringing. So I want to welcome all of you who are members of the Dirty 30, family and friends, Gallaudet staff who are here, individuals who are supporting this event. To everyone here today, I wish you a very wonderful event. I think you see two presidents here, Bob DeVilla and myself. That means it's a very significant event, and we were happy to grace you with our presence here tonight. Thank you so much for the legacy you began at Gallaudet. Your grit, your persistence, the Bison song, all of that really represented your grit and your strength. That strength and persistence really began before we were here, but you continued that spirit during your time here. And I ask that you remind everyone how tough it is, how tough we are as a deaf community, as members of Gallaudet community, and it's that persistence that keeps us here and keeps that legacy strong. Thank you all for being here tonight. The way you play is a tough sport. You know, I always loved my father, and you probably appreciate this. During his training years, my father was always known for telling his story. There was a hill right here at the School for the Deaf. It was a fairly steep hill, and my father would always get the players to run up that hill, and once they got to the top, they had to run back down again. And then they have to maybe crawl up one time and run up the next time, and on their hands and knees the third time. And then my father would tell them they had to continue to go up and down this hill, and all the players hated it. It was called Death Hill. But they would do it despite their discomfort and their fatigue and their dislike. He would always tell them to get back up there and go up that hill one more time. And up and down the hill they would go, learning a lesson each time, because he would ask, how did you do? And if they said they did very well, he would say, back up that hill one more time. You know, football coaches are tough, right? I can clearly see that as you create the Dirty 30, and it takes a unique character to be a football coach.
Hopefully you all enjoyed your meal. Are we all satisfied? Awesome. There is one person who had to get here after after practice, and that is Chuck Goldstein, the head coach of the Gallaudet football team. And I wanted to give Chuck a moment to do a warm welcome and come on up.
Hello, everyone.
Can I join on Saturday? Can I play?
You can stand on the sideline right next to me. I actually do need a volunteer. I've maybe received over 25 emails and phone calls saying, I need this man. Okay, you're so persistent.
Yeah, I was poking and prodding everybody. I had to. And now look at the result. So thank you, Chuck.
Beautiful one tonight. Hello, everyone. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. To be honest with you, I've never felt so much pressure for any game like I do right now on this stage to win this game Saturday. We're standing in the presence of great players here. There's pressures on. So funnily enough, I arrived to work this morning, walking into the field house, down to the basement, saw 4 older-looking men. I'm not saying old, I'm saying older-looking. One man with his walker, strutting along there, a couple taking pictures. And they stopped me and said, excuse me, where are we going? We're trying to get to this other building. How do we get out of this building? And I looked, this must be the dirty 30. You see it on their polo. He said, oh, you're the football coach? I told him, yes, nice to meet you. And the pressure started in that moment. He said, uh-oh, we're ready for Saturday. Are you ready? I said, ooh, we're still going to practice today. But anyways, thank you for setting this event up. Personally, I've been working here for 13 years at Gallaudet, and it's been an amazing experience the past 13 years. Thank you, Mike Woodstock. Thank you, our president, former president, who's now retired, President Davila. It's been such an enriching experience. I have learned so much, not just about football, but about the rich community here, deaf culture, just everything intertwined. Gallaudet really is the heart of the deaf community. When I arrived here today, he said, oh, dirty 30. At first I didn't really get it. I said, what's so special about a game that only, or a team that won one game? If I was in that situation, I'm the guy who's celebrating. But over time, after meeting some of you, Forrest Clyde, I started to realize more. It's more than just about football. When I'm recruiting students to come to Gallaudet to play football, I would say high school is a great experience. But the people you meet in college will become the best of friends for your entire life. When you get married, the best man at your wedding is going to be your teammate. And I assume you had some football players in your wedding, right? Happens all the time. Now, seeing this group of men here tonight that never quit, never gave up, endured so many challenges over their football year, but continue to press on and stay together throughout the season. You became the leaders of this university. You showed people that whatever comes your way, you stick together. We have a really good team this year. We got big 78 players. Big roster, big men on the team. From 28 different states. So now, the problem that we experiencing this year, even early in the season, is the team chemistry. Right, we have 13 new players joining this season. Most are hard of hearing that don't know any sign language at all. So we're trying to teach them sign language, develop their skills, and work together all at the same time to build a relationship, build the chemistry for the team. It's nothing like what the Dirty 30 had. We don't have that yet, but I'm confident that over time we will develop what you have. I'd like to share one story about a very special team. Didn't matter if they won or lost, no matter what happened in the game. They stick together, and that's because of team chemistry. And they finish out the season together. And that is the goal, is to develop that team chemistry and that relationship. As a coach, yes, of course I want to win. But my most important job as a coach, and Bob can attest to this, the most important responsibility I have is to develop these young people. To teach them, to give them the skills to become men. We use football as motivation, yes, but we're really developing, and then we've been doing this over the 45 years, we're developing these men in their 4 to 5 years up to graduation. We want them to be able to come back and have those long-lasting relationships, and we want them to celebrate just as you are celebrating tonight. Thank you, but why did you add so much pressure for our game Saturday? But we're ready.
All right, we're expecting to see you win.
So what I can tell you all is that tomorrow at 4:30, before I head out of town, I was invited, normally on a regular basis, to see the football players before they start the season. And most of the time, I find them somewhere and stop by to surprise them. So we decided tomorrow, on purpose, before I head to the airport, I'm going to be there to see their team off during their practice. So if you are there as well out on the field, I'm sure you can be part of my story that will help inspire them for Saturday. So you can watch the team for me on Saturday, as I will not be able to be there, but I will be there tomorrow during the practice. Let's inspire these guys, not pressure them, but inspire them. Right? Let's inspire them.
I'm not sure if you remember the story about the homecoming game. So, the coaching staff and I, we were sitting at the bench, in the middle of the game, focusing, changing our plays up, making adjustments. Players weren't looking at me, and I turn around. I see Bobby over here saying, "You got this, you got this." And Mike was sitting and I go, "Hey, Bobby, hold on, let the coach take care of this. Let the coach." But we want to give you the opportunity for our first homecoming game. Really, that was a great experience, being able to be part of it.
He's 96 years old. He's the oldest player, and he was able to make his way back to campus to honor the Dirty 30. Such an inspiration. It's an honor to be standing with you. Ken is very well known in the deaf community. He graduated from Gallaudet and ended up working in Oklahoma School for the Deaf. They went on to win a championship. And then after that, he moved to Berkeley, California, where he would go on to win another championship. So it seemed like any sport he went, championships followed. Okay. So in this photo, there's 8 Dirty 30 players that were able to learn from Ken. These were kids at the time, and they ended up coming to Gallaudet. Some of them went on to graduate. And Ken actually taught leadership skills to all 8 of those student athletes. Now, we do have a man who is an addition to that number. And Dan's from Gallaudet, and he was our behind-the-scenes statisticians expert. But he worked very closely with Ken. So Ken actually taught him, so technically man should be number 9, but we only have 8 photographed. But anyway. All right, I think Ken's gonna try to stand up here. Ken is one of the best bosses I have ever had in my life. I love you, Ken. And man, you're one of the best workers I ever had. Does that mean Van's getting a raise? Are you getting a raise, man? He said you're one of the best workers he's ever had. I think he deserves a raise. I wanted to share how football started here at this university. In 1948, I was president of the Gallaudet University Alumni Association. Collection to interpretation, the Gallaudet University Collegiate Association. At the time, I remember Turk coming in from Minnesota, Bill, a couple other good players, Radford, so many different players. And I thought to myself, we've got to put something together here. We need to set up a football team. So I saw President Elstad, and he gave us the blessing to go ahead and set up a football team. Now the policy stated, I can't recall the exact number, but I would imagine needed to have at least 25 players on the team. We had around 20. So there were some people who had never played football a day in their lives that we forced them to join the football team. And as soon as those players joined us, as awkward as the experience it was for them, we were able to make it to 25. I remember we had to borrow uniforms from other teams. So we ended up getting a lot of different mismatched pants in various colors, but that didn't matter to us. But you had to have the same jerseys. So Catholic University, they were actually willing to provide us the upper jerseys. Once we got the shipment, you remember what happened, Frank? You remember what happened? The jerseys smelled like mothballs. They had been in storage for quite some time, which we appreciated, but that odor, that mothball odor, was pungent. So we took out the uniforms out the package, and we let it air out. And after that, we washed them around 3 or 4 different times. And sure enough, we were able to use them. They were striped jerseys, and it had leather stripes, leather vertical stripes. And I remember we were able to play one game, and that was a game we almost won. We just barely lost 13-8. In 1949, we ended up winning more games, and the position that I played was center, so I would hike the ball. And anytime we were ready, I would hike the ball. And I can remember my junior year, I played the position of safety because I was such a great tackler. I was able to blow by the offensive players trying to block. That was the year that I injured my knee, and that was a career-ending injury. But I would still support the football team and watch Frank, who was one of the best tacklers on the team. I think it was one year he had 29 tackles, excuse me, a game where he had 29 tackles. Imagine that. So that's the story of how football started here at Gallaudet, and I'm proud to share that story. And that led to Dirty 30 having an opportunity to play, and that's why I'm here showing my respects to all of you tonight. Now, Ken is our oldest player at 96, but Frank is at 92.
I'm going to keep this short. Our records, look back, not worthy to show. But our sense of pride is one thing that we'll carry with us. One thing about football that's held true is that we've never lost a game in heart. Now we would go through experiences of losing as well as winning, but we were undefeated. Now, Dirty 30, that fighting spirit is what we all have in all of us. You might win 200 and all, but keeping that fighting spirit is what keeps you alive. Now, as we think about all the memories we have, even if we didn't win them all, we having that fighter spirit, we were able to beat them with that spirit. Great to be here for all of you. Thank you very much for preparing this evening for all of us. I'm just so very proud. Proud to be a Bison. As well as many of you. You might try to file down our horns. We are once Bison, always a Bison. Now, if you go and ask about Frank Turk, now, I don't believe I ever punished anyone. Punishment is not in my vocabulary. Now, discipline, I have my own way. Especially this one here, had to file down those horns. Now, we would sit down, and I would consider it punishment. And say, these horns, all these troublemakers, now, he became my assistant without pay. And I am going to start tying on those horns, keeping everyone in line. So, I would call it a punishment. If you really wanted to be punished, you go sit in the corner. Think about all the things you've done. You would hate the person who is punishing you that way. Now, I just worked on filing down those horns. And I kept those boys under me, under all love you. Love you. 2 or 3 times.
Experience, ultimately build up the team, and they went on to win the national championship, having a perfect 10-0 season. And I think you were actually tied with the Illinois School for the Deaf for the most winning record that season. And Rocco continued this streak of winning. There was a gentleman by the name of Norman Harper, who was a part of the Dirty 30. And Norman actually played for Rocco. And how fitting we have Rocco here to share some special remarks today.
Had a long evening already. Hoping you're not gonna fall asleep on me tonight. I'm gonna keep this short as possible. So when Clyde told me about the Dirty 30 team picking me to come and be a guest speaker, it was a no-brainer. Of course I said yes. I felt honored that you all voted for me. I am honored to be part of the celebration here tonight. 50th anniversary of this group is just remarkable. Thinking of all the Gallaudet history over the years, we've never had a team like this. 4 reunions. You are definitely trailblazers. There have been other football teams to have reunions. This is the first to have 4 reunions. Football brings in the fans. That's why colleges are obsessed with football. Of course, it is a total moneymaker. When I came into Gallaudet my freshman year in 58, one of the players that was the captain of the football team came up to me and said, "Join the football team." At that time, I was not ready. I never played in high school, and so coming in as a freshman, I was not ready. I didn't want to put half-heart into the game of football. So as a student, I didn't want to come in and join half-hearted. Now, during my sophomore year, I got that taste of college. I was pretty ready. Time to join the football team. Coach John Cubis was there. First night the meeting we had, we called a meeting, explaining all the rules of the game, and he showed us a movie on 16mm film, and he showed us offensive plays. He actually loaned that film from University of Iowa, and after watching that, I was hooked. They showed us a T offensive play from the University of Iowa. Now looking back, those 2 coaches, that's not fair. We had a low budget at that time here at Gallaudet, so we had an offensive coach, defensive coach. And as a player, I played on end and defense at that time. Now Gallaudet had those gray uniforms, the gold yellow jersey with the gold details. The Washington Redskins actually donated helmets. So at the time, the strip that was blue actually used to be burgundy from the Washington Redskins team. But we were very honored to wear those uniforms. We were feeling good and we were ready. So as I mentioned, as a sophomore, I played end. And unfortunately, I suffered a bad injury. During one of our games against Montclair University in New Jersey, I was getting ready for a tackle and my pinky decided to go 90 degrees on me. And as I looked down at my pinky, I could see the white bone, white as snow, hanging out. The trainers came out to help me, bandaged me up, took me straight to the hospital, George Washington University Hospital here in DC. Got in a Volkswagen buggy. Remember those back in the day, wearing my giant helmet and uniform and this teeny little car, racing to get to George Washington University Hospital. Okay, took off my bandage and oh, the sight to see, excruciating pain. So I like to say this is my Gallaudet souvenir. Look at that pinky. That's my football souvenir, all the memories. Going into my junior year, I did not play football. I was a little bit lazy at that time. I was on academic probation. And the following year, I played with our man here back here, Frank Turk, my senior year. What do you think about Turks back here? During the summertime, every few weeks, you know, remember those typewriters we used to have? It wasn't a computer, it was a typewriter. You have to crank it, and then the mimeograph we had. And that was the way that they would distribute the information on campus. And so I called him the drill master on being this man, and he could type a mile a minute. He was cranking it all out of that typewriter. I mean, hot, humid days, you could see him just cranking on that typewriter. Looking back, you know, I get it. He loved his boys. We had to practice tough love with them to get them in shape. There's a big playbook we had there. Look it up. Single wing formation we had. All the different screen passes, running plays, different strategies that we would use, and we would keep them all in this thick playbook. Going through all these years of school, I played different positions over the years, except for three. Never was a center, never was a tackle or guard. I played all the other positions, got to taste everything. I would use the utility player, and I would say that's fine, as long as you keep me on the field. I don't want to be benched. And that really helped me prepare me for my experience at the deaf school. Everything I learned, I brought as a coach. I was familiar with all the different positions. Now I look back and the work that they put into our team, just phenomenal. Up until my senior year, when we played against Bridgewater College, way out there at their field, we completely dominated them. 30-0. And it was their homecoming. The homecoming queens sitting on their thrones were distraught. Could not believe, how did it beat us? I mean, we played the most perfect game. Maybe we had one penalty the whole game, not one turnover. I mean, it was a complete shutout. Bridgewater College, their queen, actually got up and cussed us out as we walked by. She said, "Dad, you can't talk, you can't hear, how did you beat us?" And we defeated their reign that day. We taught them a lesson. Now I remember at that time, player, University of Arkansas, Warren, he on that team, and he actually had hearing loss. And from that school, he actually transferred to Gallaudet from University of Arkansas. And at that time, he was competing for a position at University of Arkansas. He was a pretty renowned person out there. Jerry Jones, who's now the current owner of the Dallas Cowboys. So he was at University of Arkansas as well as Jimmy Johnson at the time, who became coach for the Cowboys. So he actually left University of Arkansas to play at Gallaudet. And then now look at that. Now those are rock star billionaires now. And we had that player on our team. He was quick off the line because of what he learned at University of Arkansas. And just because of that hearing loss, he was able to transfer to Gallaudet. Pretty interesting story. But anyway, as I graduated, I applied to Kendall School, Jersey School for the Deaf, ended up hiring me. And they said I needed to take a civil service exam, their policy. That even if you pass on, you get hired on, you still need to go through the civil service exam first. So, my mother was like, well, you got a job, you gotta do it. They had never actually had a deaf coach at that school before. So bringing me in, Virginia School for the Deaf gave me that full package, that full experience of being a coach, and that's what I really wanted. So it was a no-brainer. And so, going to my first year, I was an assistant coach, and I learned over the time. A couple years go by, and the deaf principal at the school said we needed change. And so, called me in to meet with the principal and superintendent. They said to me, we've been speaking to the principal, and we think that we need a change. Are you okay with switching roles into head coach? For me, of course I was fine going from that position. I didn't even have hesitation. I said yes to the role. And they handed me over the responsibility. I rolled up my sleeves. And at that time, I was reading a lot of books. A lot of books on coaching, and one that really stuck with me. A book by Vince Lombardi. And he has many famous quotes, but one is, football is not a contact sport. It's a collision sport. And I said, that's exactly right. Football is not just about making light contact, it's about going in with full force. Look at all of these high school boys. They're boys. They're not yet men, right? Once they become men, they get it. And so, we had a few injuries. And as I mentioned, Sherman Harper, one of your Dirty 30 team members, he was playing junior varsity at the time. He was 14, tall, 5'10", came from a deaf family. His mother, I think, was 5'10". His father was pretty tall. His mother was very bright woman, beautiful English. And she was from Virginia School for the Deaf. Instead of going to college, she decided to marry a deaf farmer because of that. And so this family moved to Virginia, bought a beautiful farm near Roanoke, Virginia. When I visited that farm, I was just aghast. 200 acres. Peaks in the craters. Now, at that time, Sherman grew. Of course, he was living on a farm, tossing bales of hay every day, strong forearms. One summer, I think he sprouted 4 or 5 inches that summer. Now he was 6'3", 220 pounds, in perfect shape for football. We had other athletes his size. At that time, our assistant coach from North Carolina School for the Deaf, Glenn Patterson, and in his time, he never lost a season as coach in all 3 sports that he coached. Now, coming to Virginia School for the Deaf, he definitely brought an attitude with him, a winning attitude, winning mentality. We were going to win. Now, that brings us to 1968. We started winning. We had 1 loss against Central High School. First time going out there, out of the country, and oh, they were full of farmer boys. They were big men. The following year, we decided not to play that school anymore. So when my boys were checking out the schedule in 1969, they saw we weren't playing that school, and they came to us and said, why not? I said, they're too good for us. We said, no, this is revenge. We need to go back. I said, we can do it. And so I called that school, and they were thrilled. Of course they wanted to take us back. Fans love watching the deaf football players. I said, even though we lost 31-0, they enjoyed it. We were the passing team to them. So this time we decided we were coming to our court. So we had them come to our home, but they wanted us to go there, and so we went back and forth. And we decided that we would get half the game seat, and we would go and play at their field. And that was in November. Whew, that was a rough month that time. First week, we played on Friday, and then the following Tuesday, we had a makeup game that was supposed to happen in September. We had some issue with the transportation getting us to 1 game in September. So we had to move that to November on a Tuesday. So we played Friday and the following Tuesday. 3 games in 7 days. My boys, I realized when I knew it was coming, I was nervous. Friday, we won 34-14. That following Tuesday, went out to our next game, and the coach actually had posters up about our team saying they think they're going to beat us. We got to stop this deaf team. And I told them that they are really fired up. Do not take them lightly. And sure enough, by halftime, we were up by 6, and we saw them actually breaking boards out of anger. Really, they were more athletic than our team, but with that attitude, we blew them out of the water, 32-0. We practiced light the rest of that week because we knew we had that next game coming up. And I tell you, we got to Central, we arrived at their high school field at 7:40, getting ready for an 8 o'clock game. And it was cold that day, 20 degrees. When I say cold, I mean it. We had a load of of fans, faculty, staff. When we arrived there, we had the mentality of winning. My father always told me that you can't win all the time in your life. As a football coach with a streak of 9-0, I said, that is not true. We are going to win. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to beat this school. You stay 9-0. So my assistant said, oh, don't worry, the boys are going to be okay. Halftime, we were up 14-0. And at halftime, we had our meeting. Instead of lecturing on, I said, remember, I gave them 3 lines. I said, you are 24 minutes away from national championships. Play smart, avoid silly mistakes, and get out there. So as we get to the 3rd quarter, towards the end, Sherman Harper, he played great all the way through. Our quarterback threw an interception. Harper chased him down and violently tackled him to the point where the player suffered an injury and hurt his knee. So as we bring the player off on a stretcher, stretcher to the bench. His parents come down and he complains of his injury. I remember it was pretty cold that night. So to take his place, they sent a short player out. They did their best. And we tried to kill the clock by running the ball. And I mean, we were jumping for joy, thrilled. We were going to have a 10-0 season. When the clock hit 0, at that time, it was too cold to get in the shower right after that. So we all got on the bus and drove back to Richmond to get fast food 2, 3 in the morning. We arrived at the deaf school by 3 a.m. That night I couldn't sleep. I was just thinking, we were 10-0. I was on cloud nine, I tell you. Wow. But looking back, without Sherman Harper on our team, we would not be 10-0. He was the key player. He was an all-American player. First team that I'll never forget. Thank God for the opportunity to be 10-0. Really thanks Sherman Harper. Now as I came into Gallaudet, Sherman joined Dirty 30. And over the years, we decided three undefeated teams to have a reunion. That's going to be the plan, right? So Sherman did come from Texas to a reunion. I remember he came in dressed to the nines. He did look a little sick. As the evening wore on, went into the Hall of Fame, listened to the presentations. Sherman was well dressed at that time. And he was teaching at Brownsville in Texas. He actually brought his football scrapbook to the reunion. So we were going through, looking at all the players. But yeah, I was player 77. And the boys were just inspired by that. Harper was an inspiration to these boys. Just to have him there. And this was in October, and then a few months later he passed away. But to have him there was just such an inspiration. And his family that owned the farm, they ended up selling it and moved to Texas. And they asked the buyer when he sold the farm, he told them we needed to keep one small lot for the family in order to have a burial there. And so luckily the buyer gave them a plot of land. When the father died, they buried him there. Sherman Harper as well went to his funeral, and when his mother died as well, they were able to be all buried in that plot of land in Virginia. I was fortunate and blessed to have such a good experience. And I have to thank Gallaudet first and foremost. I've learned so much from the coaches, Coach Kirk, Coach Robbins. And I am so honored and humbled to be part of this 30-30 celebration tonight. I have to admit, the more and more I read and learn about the Dirty 30, I'm just hooked. What you've gone through, you have earned my deepest admiration. So bravo, bravo to all of you, Dirty 30. I love you all. You all are historic. You're heroes. And your spirit can never be broken.
Rocco talked about academic probation. Remember how there was 27 players on the Dirty 30? We had 24 that graduated with a college degree. 3 did not. So that shows you the majority of us focused on balancing our student life with our athletics. Just as it's important for us to practice hard, we also had to study hard. Matt, 24 out of the 27 getting a college degree. Next, Ken Norton will come up and share some remarks.
Now, we're going to welcome Bob to the stage. Do one push-up for us. Come on. Yeah, chicken. He is always saying, oh, that's a lousy push-up. Oh, stick it to your jersey. Play like girls. Come on, run like my grandma. My grandma was faster than you. Oh, you missed that one. You missed that tackle. My grandma would tackle better than you. This guy, we were almost about the same age when he was my coach. I had to look up to him like my father.
So I'm humbled to be here tonight with so many great coaches. Not only built successful teams, we built winners also. And I'm humbled to be here with so many great coaches. Even my buddy Mark, this is my buddy Mark. He left. I have to tell you a story about my part-time learning Saturday. We were practicing one day, I think we practiced with Catholic, and John Samuels was up. He wasn't doing very well. And I asked him, I said, are you afraid? Are you afraid? He answered, are you chicken? He started laughing. I said, are you chicken? He laughed again. Finally, I asked Tom Akers, I said, why is he laughing? Coach, you're using the wrong side. You're asking me to be a lesbian. First, I want to thank Clyde for playing this event tonight. Clyde is one of the captains. Clyde, that's what captains do. They lead. You've done a great job tonight. I also want to thank the other members of the team who helped in the committee. Who also done a great job. We were a team in 1971 and still a team tonight. And your huddles on Thursday night Zoom, you know, that continued the tradition of the huddle in Gallaudet. preseason camp. Injuries, players quitting, and then the Labor Day event left us with 27 players. And you can think about that. How many players we have, Chuck? 78. It's 78 now. We started with 28 players. You came from all over the country. California, Florida, Missouri, Ohio, South Carolina, Indiana, Iowa, Alabama, Kentucky, Minnesota, Virginia, Kansas, Nebraska, Illinois, and one beloved Canadian. We had 8 seniors, 8 juniors, 6 sophomores, and 6 freshmen. We became a team in 1971, and what's greater, we're still a team today. And I regret we had to cancel that last game against Jersey State. The AD and the president strongly urged me to cancel the game. And I canceled it because we had only 18 tired players. I didn't want you to get hurt. And I'll take the responsibility for that because I thought that was best for you. I know you would have wanted to play. Sometimes coaches have to make decisions that aren't very popular. That's a decision have to make. Most of you play offense, you play defense, you play in the big games, kick games, and you never took a rest during the game. And I never, ever heard you complain. You just played hard. And that's part of your legacy. So here we are tonight, 51 years later, gathering for the 4th time. Your legacy is not 1 win and 7 losses. That's not why we're here. We were competitive in most of our games. We lost 2 games by 7 points. Many teams have beat us badly, if you remember. But Bridgewater College came across the way. We're here tonight to honor your commitment as a team. And we never quit attitude. We're also here tonight to honor what you've achieved after you left Gallaudet. I think some of that never quit attitude, well, you showed on the field, helped you in your career. Some of you coached sport teams, correct? Did that experience in 1971 help you build a team, help you make those guys together? I'll bet you did. It's great to see you have remained friends since that season. I'm sure that you have supported each other through some probably difficult times in your life. But that's what teammates do. They're always there to help you. Some of you have been in touch with me for years. And that's the best and most rewarding part of being your coach. I always remember that game in 2007 when 16 of you showed up all over the country to watch me coach that first game at St. Vincent College against the Gallaudet team. Gallaudet won. We all rooted for Gallaudet. That's okay. We should have won. But remember, 2008, I won my first game at St. Vincent College over there on the field. So I got even. And I'm enjoying the conversations tonight with some of the memories that you had. I hope you're enjoying them too. And I'll bet you, if we go to Rackstown, there'll be some more stories 2007. Kenny also was there, so was Jeff. And Lori's son was on that team. And you know, Lori, he was the dirtiest of the dirty 30. You guys remember why? Never watched the film. Never. He was the dirtiest of the dirty 30. He took a lot of pride in that too. And we were lucky to call them teammates and friends. And I know that both Jeff and Tom are trying to get here tonight. And I'll bet you that no quick action helped in the fight. And at the very end, didn't get the season that they had. And I know they want to be here, and certainly for this. You know, coaching at Gallaudet in 1971, it changed my life. It was the start of a 46-year coaching career for me. And I've often thought about you to hear teams that I've coached. You know, they want to stop practicing hard, they retired, this and that. I said, I'll tell you about the 1971 team I coached. Now, they never ever did. Coaching here, living in Gallaudet, it gave me insight to that culture I never even knew existed. I had no idea. I had no idea. I never knew that person until I came here to Gallaudet. Coaching gave me friends for the next 52 years. And of course, I met Brittany, graduate student here. And she's still my wife after 49 years. It's an honor to be your coach. And really, it's more of an honor to be your friend. Thank you for allowing a 23-year-old kid into your lives. Thank you for being a friend. Again, your legacy is not about wins and losses. Other Gallaudet teams have had much more success than you've had on your legacy is about the men you became, the teachers you became, the leaders you became. And I'm hopeful that some of those lessons that you learned when you went through the 1971 helped you succeed. And finally, I remember one of you, after one game, signed to me, I love you. Whoa, no one ever told me that before. Particularly if you have so hard on you guys. Well, I love the Dirty 30. I'm very proud to be part of it. I love being here this weekend. And I'm sorry I wasn't here for the team picture today. I hope that we can make that up. Again, thank you for letting me be part of your lives. And really, it's beyond special that we're still here tonight celebrating not one in 7 seasons. That doesn't happen. That doesn't matter one bit. What matters is that we're still here, we're still friends. That's what matters. And I'm going to end with one little toast I heard a long time ago. And it goes like this. It said, here's to us and those that are like us, and then you left. Good night, thank you.
A very special gift for you, Bob. From our team to you. This is the very, very first step that he took in becoming head coach in 1970 at age 23. Most of the time our seniors are 22 when they graduate, so he becoming head coach at 23. Just amazing. We have so much respect and admiration for you, Bob. At that time, you only knew a little bit of sign. We taught you those 4 signs, remember? Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Fight. Practice. I remember everyone, ooh, pride. Say pride. Keep that pride. Keep that pride. Say that over and over again. Drill it in our heads. The third term, you would always say, tackle wasn't good. Say tackle harder. And if we did not tackle harder, all of our Dirty 30 players loved what he would say. Remember his homemade sign? Chicken. That's chicken shit. Really, he put us through the fire. 1970. Then we became the Dirty 30 that following year. Now we're going to send him home with his beautiful wife. That's a young boy right now. All right, folks, the room's attention. I know this was a pretty long night. We had a lot to pack in. I mean, this might be the last time, or maybe we'll have one more reunion. So thank you for being patient with us. We know we probably have another 30 minutes to go, and I know that we all have places to be.
Close to us. Maybe I never made it time, but all of you have been my best friends since my college days, and there's no question about the love that I have for each of you.
Yeah.
So Bob, I got something to say to you. So I happened to be with Lori and Andy. This was back in 1975. We took a road trip to see Bob and Chris out in New York, in Manhattan, and I was upstate. And this was a few years after he left Gallaudet. We stayed Friday through Sunday, and we had a blast. When we first got there on Friday, we asked, who was that person that was pretty good? And he said, Mark Murphy. Mark Murphy was a safety that was 6'4" and was a beast. He was able to intercept the ball and make some pretty serious tackles. And I remember that homecoming day, I shook this gentleman's hand, and Chris was interpreting it. And I said, great job, you played a nice game. I tapped him on the shoulder. always a Green Bay Packers fan. And then there was an announcement, the president would retire, and they were searching and having interviews. So finally, they narrowed it down and announced Mark Murphy to be the president. I looked at the huge lettering on the heading of the newspaper. I know many Murphys, so I didn't think much of it. But after looking into the article further, it shocked me out of my chair. This is a guy I already met from Boston. And I told my wife, I ran all the way down to the basement. And that's where I had my catalog for college football. And I looked at the 1975 magazine, and I saw a picture of Mark Murphy standing with long hair at 6'4". And I'm like, he's the president of the Green Bay Packers? I was so excited, and I wanted to meet him. I waited a few months, let him get settled into his role, and I called the organization. I said, I want to speak to Mark Murphy. And the secretary said, well, we'd like to speak to Mark Murphy. And there were 2 words. I said, Bob Colvin. The next morning, he called and said, we want to see you. That's all I have to say, Bob Colvin. I was thrilled to hold this Gallaudet 3030 article that Bob was a part of in the 70s, knowing that I used to teach at university. My friend and I drove 90 miles, and I said I wanted to ride out. He said, are you serious? I said, absolutely. We didn't have an interpreter, so we weren't sure what we were going to do about that. But there was a gentleman who happened to live in Green Bay, named Jordan. So there was an attempt to contact Jordan, and he said, can you visit me? One of the interpreters, and he said, I said, we're going to meet Mark Murphy. He said, bullshit, and he hung up. I called back and I said, no, I'm not kidding, we're going to meet Mark Murphy. And I said, you won't believe the story. We're going to meet him at lunch in Green Bay. And he still didn't believe me. We went on this road trip. We met for lunch. And I explained to Mark Murphy the book because I didn't want there to be any misunderstanding. Sure enough, we got to the Lambeau Stadium. Now, I told security I had an appointment for 2 p.m. And I didn't have to go to the public entrance. I got to go to the private entrance. And we got to go into the 3rd level. I'll never forget, the secretary's name was Patty. And she said, please have a seat. And as we were waiting, I see Mark coming up to us. I say, hi, I'm on.
I bet you won't go blitz. Touchdown, number 5. Watch this. Touchdown, number 5. Watch this. Touchdown. What He might, he went through that boy. He like, he's going down. Bro acá. Thank you.